Good morning, fellow bookworms, book hoarders, book lovers, and creatives. Here's to another bright and happy Wednesday. Today is episode 52 of the podcast, and we've got another great episode for you all today. And if you love to read horror, you are in for a treat. Of course, we are nearing the end of the spooky season, and what better way to do that other than to have a horror writer closing out our October? Now, of course, if you know me, horror is all year round for me, and Halloween is not only a movie for me, it is both a state of mind as well as a favorite season. Now, although I love reading and watching horror, I myself have yet to write one. And if I do, you guys will be the first to hear about it. But you know what? Like always, our show is available for both Spotify and on my YouTube channel. You have the option to listen to us or watch us. The choice, I leave it in your hands. And whether you are listening or watching, please click the subscribe button and ring the bell so you do not miss a single episode and you will be notified when a new one comes along. All of our past episodes are out there ready for you to return to or listen to chronologically if you wish to do so, or if you're joining us for the first time. So let's get to it and dive into today's episode of the podcast. Happy Halloween and enjoy! Woo! Welcome to Urban Fantasy PH. We are creatives who live in an urban society and give readers wish fulfillment by way of our stories, which is fantasy but reflective of reality. Here, we get to talk to fellow creatives like writers, authors, artists, comic book creators, filmmakers, you name it. We create and share our art here in the Philippines as well as abroad. My name is CJ Edmunds, I'm your host, and here is today's episode. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Urban Fantasy PH podcast. Our guest for today is Taiwanese Dutch Filipino novelist and speaker that's based in Manila. He is the author of the horror novel Head by the Ceiling, published by Anvil this year, and Run Red Run. This is a crime and mystery thriller story that's going to be out by UP Press 2026 in the young adult anthology in Filipino fiction. Now, he's also authored three other books, and this has gained much wide readership. His works have been featured by the Philippine Inquirer, Chinoy TV, Tatler Asia, The Beat Asia, and Manila Times. Now, he was also a fellow at the first Paradox Philippines Speculative Fiction Writing Fellowship at the University of the Philippines, and he was also shortlisted this year for the Writers in Residence of the Taiwan Literature based, curated by the National Museum of Taiwan Literature. Now, he writes with a strong sense of inclusivity with a capital I, ensuring that the characters in his stories are heard and understood. He champions the importance of representation, showing that everybody deserves a platform in literature to share their stories. And in his free time, he does enjoy watching horror movies. He also enjoys cooking. He also enjoys sketching, painting, and savoring a good cup of coffee. Definitely, he is my kind of human to hang out with. All right. So let's say hello and good morning to Mr. Anthony Shieh. Hello. Arr!
Hello, good morning. I'm so happy to be here on the Urban Fantasy PH podcast, especially to be spending time with you. I'm CJ. You're one of those who continue to champion our voices. So thank you so much for featuring Filipino creatives.
Thank you for being here. We've talked about this for the longest time, but I felt that the
Mhm,
spooky season was the best time to get you here.
mhm.
So welcome. So cutting to the chase, I was wondering, have you always gravitated towards things that are spooky and associated with horror? And why do you think horror has a big draw on you?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I've always been drawn to spooky things, especially anything related to horror. When I was first exposed to horror around the age of 3, and ever since, I've found it both strangely entertaining and satisfying, whether on screen or in the book. I remember those comics about Philippine folklore. I think the titles were I don't know if it's horror, Pantasha, or Shocker. My mom wouldn't let me read read it back then. I know you know this, and she said that it was too graphic. The first time I remember watching films were Aswang and Shake, Rat, and
Mhm.
Roll 4 with Aiko Melendez. And my
Okay.
mom would often take me to our local VHS and Betamax rental shop in Calamba
Yes.
Street.
Shout out to beta and VHS users. I'm sure meron pa yan.
True. I hope so. I hope so. Another reason come from my personal experience. I have a third eye, which used to be so active years ago, but now I'm in a better place. So the third eye is much more less active. It started when I
Mhm.
was 4. I believe I was able to mention it in my in Head by the Ceiling author's note that one night I was sitting with my cousins on the hood of an owner. They call it owner or a small jeep in the Philippines near our house on Ibarra Street. And I noticed something strange like a red light from the PLDT tower in España. And the red light is like going in and out, and then suddenly it's like two eyes already. So let me position it with you, for you. So I'm here, the coconut trees from Maranata, and then PLDT Tower. So the coconut trees in between in our
In the
position,
tower.
and yes, and then I saw a large silhouette perch on the coconut tree, completely motionless. So later neighbors and relatives said that there is a kapre known to live there. So
Mm.
that also inspired Hashakusama, my main monster in my book. And what else? And lastly, I know how to read palms. So it's a gift that I got from my mom. And if
Aw,
ever we're going to have coffee next week or whenever, I can read yours. So
naku,
there.
okey. Ah, naku. Parang, okay, I need to
Yeah.
moisturize. Yeah.
Mas maganda dry because I can see all of the lines actually.
All the lines. Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay.
Yes.
Nice, nice. Um, did you have to study for palmistry? I suppose. I mean, did you take a
Ah,
class for that?
no, actually, I just learn it out of nowhere. Because
Oh.
my grandma knows how to read tarots, and my mom knows how to read tarots as well, and baraha. And then me, palm reading. I don't know bakit nagbago when it comes to me, and I'm really thankful for this gift. At first, I thought the universe was just joking on me. Maybe these things that I'm seeing on the palms of people, it's
Mm-hmm.
ano lang to, ay baka ano lang to. It's my creative mind. And then afterwards, the people that I'm reading the palms are crying or
Mm-hmm.
crying na, and then saying na, how did you know about that? Are you reading my diary? And then I learned, okay, okay, I can really read palms.
Right, right.
Yeah.
There's truth to that with regards to like tarot
Mm,
cards. I
mm-hmm.
remember I was when I was starting out and fiddling with tarot cards, and I was still working in a call center. And
Mm-hmm.
in between breaks, I mean
Yes.
during breaks, that is in between calls, and sometimes because I would bring it, some of the my fellow agents will ask me to, sige, sabi mo naman ako. Say, okay, fine, I'll do that. But not knowing any better, you have to sort of like ground yourself in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I felt so drained after.
Yeah, true.
The only thing that came back to me, which I liked, was the feedback that they said what I said uh, has some sort of resonance in their lives, and I felt like, oh, okay, thank you, I must be doing something right. But
True.
now I know better.
Yeah,
So
and I agree with you because if you're feeling like a little bit like stressed afterwards or really tired, is you're expelling a kind of energy
mm,
towards these people, and you'll be really tired afterwards, definitely.
yeah, because
So relate ako dyan. Yeah,
the people can drain your energy without you knowing it.
true.
Diba? Right, right.
I agree.
Okay. You also, before we get sidetracked, so
Yes.
you mentioned in an article that the genre of horror is one of the strongest forms of storytelling. So I like that opinion quite a lot, and
Thank
you
you.
know that stood out for me in that particular article. So I was wondering, can you expand on that a bit, and what made you feel that the horror genre is that effective to storytelling as compared to maybe other genres that other people prefer to read?
Okay, sure, sure. Yeah, I believe horror is one of the strongest forms of storytelling because It's honest and it
Mm,
engages us emotionally, what else, psychologically, and even existentially in ways few genres can. First, let me focus on brutal honesty because
mm,
horror, I believe, insists on truth, that life is fragile, that is inevitable, and that evil can exist. I mean, evil can
mm-hmm.
exist without any
Right.
reason.
Okay.
And, it doesn't sugarcoat reality. We actually confront it. And a good example for that, if you've seen Ari Aster's Hereditary,
Mm.
and
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
and at the same time, the book that you just found in your library, everything you wanted to know about Ghost by Jaime
Yeah.
Licauco.
Yeah.
So this mediums doesn't shy away from grief, loss, or the idea that some horrors are simply senseless,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no like comforting logic or happy resolution. Just the raw truth that tragedy can strike anytime without warning, and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. Sometimes evil doesn't have any reason to exist. What else? Those things that I said is also connected to emotional intensity because with horror is equals to fear. So it's one of the oldest and most powerful human instincts, and it creates an immediate visceral connection.
Mm-hmm.
You and this genre forces you to feel something deeply physically, and it's very adaptable as well. Kung titignan natin the history that we have as humans, from gothic ghost to Cold War aliens like War of the Worlds,
Mm-hmm.
then the POV, which is very trending right now, the POV storytelling, like FH Batacan's Accidents Happen. Yung point of view niya, she's using the point of view of the knife. What?
Mm.
Spoiler alert pala, sorry. And then, and then, Good Boy, the movie Good Boy, which is the
Yeah, yeah,
POV.
yeah. Which I
The,
enjoyed. Which I
yeah, me
enjoyed.
too. Me too. Actually, the dog is so good. Was so good. So the POV
And
of the
that's the
dog.
director's dog.
True,
That's the
true.
director's dog, if in case you guys didn't know.
Yeah, and I still wonder how they're able to make the dog act because that dog is so good.
Yeah.
And horror is a mirror that never stops updating. And even in my childhood, I saw this as a cultural reflection. Actually, my estranged dad used to warn me, you need to sleep before the manananggal gets here, or come home before 6 p.m. or the manananggal will find you.
Mm-hmm.
And these stories were born from real social fears because back then, kidnappings is very prevalent and common in Manila. And urban legends were a way for people and even older people to make sense of danger. And I still remember the story, which I've written na rin in my later I'll show. We'll discuss about it. If your slippers went missing overnight, it means the cult might be coming for you next. Yun ang yung panakot sa akin before when I was a kid. When I was still studying in Espiritu Santo, which is in Tayuman, and dun talaga, they're super, super folkloric driven community.
Mm.
So there you go.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Ah, sa akin naman, if you wake up in the morning and yung slippers mo, it's hindi siya maayos, it means disorganized na tao ka. Yun lang naman sa amin.
DNOC, DNOC.
True.
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree with that.
Oh boy. I know it's spooky season, and while readers may be discovering your work for the first time through
Yeah.
horror, you've also written outside of your preferred or chosen genre. I was wondering, can we go back to the first book that you ever wrote?
hmm
This may not have been necessarily published. Would you still remember that? And what kind of book was it?
yes, sure, definitely. It was the first book I've ever written. It was a collection of short horror stories. Actually, let me share it with
Oh,
you.
you still have it. Here
Yeah,
I was gonna ask if you still have it.
this one. I'm
Oh
wala pa
wow.
siyang bind. Twisted Tales pa yung title niya.
Nice, nice.
With the
What is
charm
that?
logo.
With the triquetra, yes.
Yes. So
Oh my God, you still have it.
yes,
Yes.
this one it includes let me share it with you. Tormented. Oh, Tormented, which is now it's
Nice.
Run Red Run.
Okay.
Yes,
Good. Good. You went back
so
to that. Yeah.
yes, so Run Red Run, which is let me reiterate yung sinabi ni CJ earlier, it's a crime mystery thriller. Now will
Mm-hmm.
be part of the Filipino fiction for young adult anthology to be published by UEP Press in 2026. And another story from this collection was Chinelas, which
Mm.
was my understudy about yung cult nga na kumukuha ng chinelas yan, and was refined during my fellowship in University of the Philippines, where it was critiqued and workshop. So the collection as a whole filled with horror stories that I started writing when I was 14 years old. So
Oh,
that
wow.
was year 2000. So kayo na mag-compute kung ilang taon na ako. And
Kung mahina kayo sa math, wag na rin kayo mag-compute.
true, true, I agree. And I always told myself now one day I would return to those early works, rewrite them, relive
Mhm,
the horror, and finally share them with readers. And it's my way of keeping a promise to my younger
mhm,
self that
mhm.
Anthony who fell in love with storytelling and yung strange comfort ng fear, nababalikan natin yan. So ito na nga,
Okay.
ginagawa ko na siya.
Did that
Yan.
sense of fear also have a
Mm.
little bit of cringe in it? When you what?
Ah.
I wrote this. What is this?
Sabi ko nga it's very icky pang binabalikan siya. Although yeah, proud ako about it. But for every first talagang writing, there are mistakes in makikita naman sa mistakes yun sa first yun. But at the same time, it helps you see kung kano ka nakalayo when it comes
Mhm,
to your
mhm.
skill. Yes.
I agree. I agree. It does. While it does make you, get the cringe, it also sort of like uh, it sort of like sees you. It tracks your progress on how you construct your sentences, uh,
Yes.
how much you refer or not to use adverbs, or or how you set up a scene. So looking at old writings will definitely give you that in addition to the cringe. Now
Yes.
we met earlier this year during PBF or Philippine Book Fair.
Hmm.
But before all that, I did message you about it and said I was gonna get a copy of your book, and everyone who was there obviously went for that book, and we're
Hmm.
gonna be diving into that in just a few moments. But you also
Yeah.
wrote other works, namely Verge, which is your collection of poetry, and
Yes.
I still have yet to get a copy.
Thank you.
So I'm
It's
sorry,
fine.
but
It's
once you
fine.
get it, and then when I see you, I will have you sign it. Ha ha ha.
Ah.
And then there's two more, which is Death of a Loved One in the Time of the Pandemic and White
Hmm.
Mocha Americano. So
Yeah.
I just feel that they should be mentioned and talked about it
Thank
before we
you.
move on to the star of the episode, which is your horror book. And let me just flash it here.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
itim bida.
Yeah. Ito yung bida.
Itim bida for this episode. But we have to talk about the others, of course, before
Yes.
leading to that. And
Hmm.
among the three, am I correct to assume that White Mocha Americano was the first that you wrote and published before the other two? And can you tell us what that is all about? And yeah,
Yeah. Actually, White Mocha Americana. It's my second book,
okay.
and yeah, the second book I decided to go to this route because I don't want to be recognized by only writing horror because I
Mm,
love all genres, and I'm also hopeless romantic when it comes to romance. And White Mocha, it's about I should say it's about Philip and Anthony. Yun nga, yung title pa ng character, Anthony talaga nilagay ko. Because I've written them many, many years ago and I decided to go back during the pandemic. And this book is about Kappa Kappa Cafe. A Kappa Kappa Cafe. Um, it houses all of these kinds of relationship, these kinds of serendipities, and you'll never know that the person that's sitting next to you is actually the one who's meant for you. So yun
mm,
yung mga it's a BL contemporary fiction novel that I'm very proud of, because me myself, I'm part of the LGBT community, and I always tend to make sure that in my writing, LGBT community and all marginalized not all, but marginalized voices are often mentioned and discussed about in my writings. So
Nice,
yeah,
nice, nice.
yeah,
So this is just one story. It's not a story about people in the cafe. It's just one story about
one,
one couple. All right.
yes, yes,
Um, is there a possibility that I mean, is it still available? And if it's not, I take it that because you've written this, some years back, you would
yeah.
want to go back into it and tweak it, make it better. I don't know, maybe change the name of the character or names of the character. But if in case for people who would want, where can they get that book?
That's currently out of print. White Mocha
Ah,
American is currently
ah.
out of print, but you're so good because I think you can really read Tarots in the future, because right now I'm working on it. I really want to make sure that White Mocha Americano will finally meet more audiences in the future.
Mhm.
So just stay tuned for
All right.
in
When
for
that comes
whatever
out,
comes.
I will
Yeah.
have to bring you back for the June Pride Month series of
Yes. Yes.
of the podcast. So that's for
Yes.
sure. If that's the target date.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Agree.
something to look forward to, and
Yeah. Mhm.
if there are still copies of that in the wild, feel free to just message me as well.
I could give you the first
Hoy!
edition.
Ala, ala. Wala nakarinig nun.
Wala.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody heard that. But, well, moving on to the next one, the death of a loved one in
Mhm,
the time of pandemic, as the title
mhm.
suggested, is a given. But if I read it right, both Verge, which is your collection of poetry, and this other book stemmed
Mhm.
after you suffered a great loss in the family. So,
Yes.
without telling much of what you may want to keep as personal, I was wondering, can you tell us how grief became a powerful element
Mm,
in helping you write those two books? And
mm.
as a creative, how important is it for emotion to play a part in the creative process?
Sure, sure. Definitely. You're correct, actually. Death of a Loved One at the time of pandemic and Verge really go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
I actually never imagined that grief, not laughing about it, but grief would become one of my most powerful themes as a writer, because I
Mm-hmm.
thought when I was younger, horror lang ako. Like, yun lang ang
Mm-hmm.
kaya ko sulatin, horror, fear. And then when I grew up and also experienced death, that's when I learned that, okay, I have another caliber that I could tap into. So I
Mm-hmm.
still remember my mother's final wish, which is she told me, write, publish, and don't ever stop. And at that moment, I didn't realize how deeply those words would anchor me, and I never expected that my first book would actually turn out to be a memoir about my mom,
Mm-hmm.
about loss, love, learning how to keep living after someone your love is gone, especially during very troubled times that we all experienced, like
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Grief to me is no longer like sadness. It's actually a truth, a kind of truth. It's something
Mm-hmm.
live and something that reshapes us you from inside out. And when I write now, I infuse that live experience of grief into my stories. Actually, if you're going to read all of my books, it has grief in it, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not actually dwelling in pain, but somehow transforming it. And at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, as a creative, I know that emotions is the heartbeat of storytelling, and without it, I feel writing feels very empty, because it gives pulse. Emotion gives us pulse, and it connects the writer and the reader, and it became both wound and wellspring, I should say. It
Mm-hmm.
hurts definitely, but it also keeps me creating, remembering, and existing with the void. And at the same time, it helps me like a diary. I jot down all of the things that I'm experiencing, feeling about grief, and then and then afterwards, nagugulat na lang ako that these things that I've written actually fit for a novel, so,
Mm-hmm.
or a short story. So there you go.
Right. I love
Yeah.
what you said, that emotion is the heartbeat of a story. And that's
Yeah.
so true, because you
Mm-hmm.
can you can craft your sentences, your paragraph so
Mm-hmm.
grammatically perfect, and
True.
so vivid for the reader.
Mm-mm.
But if there is no underlying emotion
Mm-hmm.
for the character to bring whatever it is that they're saying out from the page and into the
Yeah.
reader's hearts, then you will lose that connection,
Mm.
and whoever has your book might not be able to finish it, up to the very last page. They might just say, I can't relate,
I
and then
can.
they'll just move to another book, and that's sad,
Yes.
for any writer.
Mm-mm.
And I'm glad that you said, with regards to emotion. I love also that you said that grief is both a wound and a wellspring,
Yeah.
because it's really that. It's how you handle your grief, how
True.
you refashion your grief, probably into a sword, into a shield, as you go on day by
True.
day, and use those weapons to just basically arm yourself,
Mm-mm.
with that kind of weaponry that will let you face what you need to face, day
Mm.
after day.
I agree.
um yeah. And as I said, I still have to get my copy of Virgin, but when I see you, I will have you,
Oh, thank you so much.
sign it. The first book, Death of the Pandemic. I take it that is also out of print, because I'm not seeing it in local stores.
Yes.
Okay,
working o-
working.
working on it as well.
Okay, okay.
Lip
So
sealed.
that's nice. Lipsy. Okay, all right. We will not force any words from you with regards to that topic. So yes, we understand the lips are sealed moment. Uh, So let's move on to the book of the hour, which is your
Okay.
debut horror book from Anvil, and that
Yes.
hopefully everyone by this time, dahil
Thank you.
palapit,
Yeah.
dahil palapit na ang end of the month, you should have already read it. If not, that's fine. You still have enough time to read it. And you know what? And this is the misconception sometimes, for, I guess, for some people now. If it's not
Mm.
Halloween, it feels off reading horror. Have you ever
Mm.
heard of that? Because sometimes I still get that. Parang, ay, hindi Halloween, eh.
Mm-mm.
Ba't ako magbabasa ng horror? No, it's all
No.
year round. So,
Yes.
what do you say to people who have that kind of perception?
For that, no, horror doesn't have any seasons. Like
Okay.
it could go in as a start of the year, it could go winter, actually good gosh, it's a winter. It could go spring. That's why sometimes if they're going to read yung author, they don't solely like focus on a holiday like October. We've written it even Mahal na Araw. Mahal na Araw can be really scary as well, or
uh,
summer. And if you're going to look then sa film industry, there are films, actually a lot of films that happen sa mga seasons. Like we have Valentine, we have Thanksgiving, we
mm,
have Halloween or Silent Night, Deadly Night, which is during
yeah,
the
the Christmas
the
season.
Christmas season, yung things like
Yeah,
that. Kaya dun pinapakita talaga sa mga readers and film goers na horror doesn't have any soul season
yeah, it's
there.
it's not confined to October lang. So
True.
hindi bawal magbasa ng horror
Yes.
outside October. If that were the case, once a year, I mean, Stephen King will always be releasing books during October, but he doesn't. He
True.
releases book, by the summer, or sometimes at the
Mm.
start of the year.
True.
So yeah, walang pinipili ang horror na season. So
I
that's, you're right.
agree.
You're right on that. So
Yes.
from your post on social media, we find out that there are also four other covers aside from the final one that you submitted. Ipakita ko uli. So this is
Yes.
the final cover. So personally, the cover that you shared before, the one with the eye,
Yeah.
I think that's number four on the bottom right.
Yeah.
As per ano, I probably would choose that if I had
Thank
the
you.
power. If I had the power to vote,
Mhm.
it was giving me the Hills of Laura Mars kind of vibe. Uh,
Wow. Thank
di
you.
ba? May mata kasi.
Mm-mm.
And yes, I know it's dating me. So for those who
Mhm.
know that movie, deal with it. But I wonder if because there were four different covers, were there other different titles to the book as well that you were considering?
No, this is
Okay.
the main title and the first thing that came to my mind.
Mm.
A trivia then. Most of the titles that I'm actually forming, it came from dreams.
Mm.
All mostly actually, and then afterwards I'm going to type it, and then when I wake up na sabihin ko, ano to mga sinulat ko, tapos may title pa. So may mga ganun akong moments. So Head by the Ceiling, from start to finish of all editing, from writing everything, still the title.
That's still the title.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Since
mm,
you said that you've gotten some of your inspiration from dreams, do you also
yeah,
believe that sometimes the first thing that pops into your head is the one that you should go for?
yes. I agree.
Okay.
Most of the time, those things na bigla na nagsasagi sa mind mo, and like the idea like came up from nowhere. Bakit ko susulatin to? And it's a difficult thing to write. Pero that's the challenge actually. Is like there is an epiphany from somewhere sa universe na nag-feed sa mind mo na you should write this. And
Hmm.
always follow your intuition, not to jot it down. Always have like notebook or even notepad in your phone and jot it down. You never know that the later part of your life na very useful pala siya for your writing career. So,
Yes,
yan ang
exactly.
payo ko. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yes.
I'm not much of a notebook person dahil minsan
Mhm.
nawawala. But I will always have my phone there, and that's why yung notes ko sa phone. That's why I just type my notes from from
Yes.
name from names of places, to names of people, to fully structured scenes, to bullet points, whatever it is that you can get your
Yeah.
where you can flesh out your ideas on a temporary basis if you can't, sit down in front of the computer and work on it.
Mm.
The phone or a notebook will
Mhm.
always be best. So, without spoilers, as warning, can you give our audience a brief summary of what Head by the Ceiling is and what
Mm.
can they expect from it?
Sure, sure. Thank you, thank you. So with that, ito yung book ko. So I'm going to read an excerpt here
Hmm.
for all of you, which is practically summarizes some of the aspect about Hashako-sama, which is the anti-hero in this book.
Mm-hmm.
So I said in my author's note, monsters have different faces. Someone you know, someone you don't know, someone you thought you knew, someone you didn't expect can do monstrous things to you, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's something. So what I'm trying to say in this book, is like sometimes yung sometimes talaga ang dami.
I mean,
the
sometimes.
yeah, the monsters in your life came definitely out of nowhere, and then you question it, bakit nandun siya. And that is something that I mirror in my book. My book is about a group of employees at a network company finds themselves hounded by strings of murders. And as the fear takes hold, they begin to suspect that the horrors are anything but coincidental. And each
Mm-hmm.
chilling event pulls them closer to our horrifying truth, one far more sinister that they could ever imagine. So, if I'm going to summarize this, a group of employees, isipin nyo, nasa call center kayo, group of employees, seven friends kayo, went to a forbidden place, and then you release something na hindi dapat, and then all hell breaks loose.
Breaks
Yeah,
loose. Okay, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
and then to find out more, of course,
Yes.
you have to read on and
Yeah.
discover it for yourself.
Yes,
Now,
that's correct. Mhm.
as for me, I posted about it, and I told you as well that
Thank you.
you have a very cinematic way of writing,
Yeah,
and that
thank you.
it propels the reader forward. The writing is, for me, it's like a river that just keeps on giving. It keeps on
Mhm.
pushing with all the current that it can muster, and it never lets up until the
Yes,
last page. So
thank you.
I love it. It makes me want to be. It makes me want to be a better writer after reading. It's like,
Wow,
parang,
thank you.
parang, I can't write like this. You know, my writing is crap. Uwi na ako.
No, you write really good. No,
Yun. That's what I got. Yoko na.
hinagis
But
eh.
nagis eh, oo. But after hindi natakot eh na ano eh
Oh.
na ilang. But you know what, after reading, and I hope it doesn't sound spoilerish to ask, is there a follow-up story in the works?
Ooh, hmm. I
Kung lips are
hmm.
sealed uli ang sagot mo,
Lip sealed. Pero ano,
maiintindihin ko yan.
pero you know one thing that CJ I really appreciate is that people are clamoring for a sequel.
Mm,
Um, I don't want to give something like spoiler dun sa banda last few
mm,
chapters, but you
mm,
know, I understand why sila nagkaklamor and
mm,
sino ang favorite character nila, and I was really, I should say I'm really emotional about it because this book it's based on that. Yeah, the title itself, it's for that character, and then they're clamoring for that character,
mm,
and now they want a sequel, and there are a couple of outlines, I should say.
mhm,
Baka nasa chapter 1, I don't know, lip sealed,
mhm,
but you
mhm,
know, it's something that I really want to work on in the near future, definitely, and we'll go back, and maybe who knows, we can go to a little bit of the past ng mga characters na nandito sa
mhm.
one. We
Okay.
don't
All
know,
right.
pero
Okay, all
gift ko
right.
na yun sa kanila,
Alright.
yes.
In short, 'pag lalabas na rin din 'yan. So,
Yes, yes. If it's
antay
time,
lang.
it's time.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we'll just have to, really wait for it. Okay, at least
Yeah.
it's, it's not completely shutting the door, and it's not also
True.
completely leaving it wide open. So
Yeah.
the door is ajar, and anything can stem from it, or anything can
Yes.
just speak from behind the door.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things I noticed, that because of your love for modern horror movies like Evil Dead
Yeah.
and Final Destination, the whole crux of it is more on the monster rather
Yeah.
than overcoming the monster, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I wonder, at which point did you feel that Poe, as we lovingly would want to call her, should be more of the focus rather than a specific hero overcoming her and her misdeeds. I mean, that's putting it mildly.
Yeah. Hmm.
Hindi naman siya misdeeds, as in talagang pag pagpapapatay talaga eh. So, so hindi siya misdeeds, but
Yeah.
I'm just keeping it light. So yun. So when at one point did you feel that the focus should be that and not just one specific hero?
Mm. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that because, what I meant dun sa book nga, like monsters are created, not born, is that the cruelty and evil or monstrous behavior doesn't come from nature alone. It's
Mm-hmm.
often by, I should say, shaped by our experience, environment, the way the society treats individuals. And I know that people are usually born evil, though maybe for a few, oo, pinanganak ng monsters. Pero yun nga. Pero most monsters,
Exception to the
yeah,
rule.
may exception, di ba? Pero di ba, we know na sa lahat na napapanood natin, even nababasa natin na monsters are created through trauma, abuse, neglect,
Mm,
deprivation, ano pa ba? Loss of empathy caused by conditioning and toxic environment.
mm,
Kasi para sa akin, monster, it's sometimes the result of suffering, manipulation, or
mm,
circumstance. And I really want to focus on that. Kapag yung society natin fails them,
mm,
and if yung system natin are unjust, which is tinakal ko yun sa pinakadulong chapter, which is the epilogue. And
mm,
suddenly the victims can turn into perpetrators, lalo na kapag prejudice or poverty, ano pa ba isang P? Powerlessness.
mm,
Kapag tinuwis siya and it erodes one's humanity.
mhm.
So I want you to think like, sino pa ba? Joker sa film, Frankenstein
Yes.
sa novel, and nilabel silang monsters, and I wrote Hashakusama with that idea in mind to reflect how fear, misunderstanding, and social neglect can transform someone that what other calls a monster. So, and dun din yung moral na pumapasok kapag when I was writing a novel, like what role do we play in their making?
Mhm.
So, yung tinakal ko din yon, which is yung ginawa na group of friends na mixed
Yeah.
blood society. Yan.
Yes, and you will know who they are when when you read further,
Yes.
right?
Actually, sila ba to?
Uh,
Ay, hindi. Sige. Okay. Okay.
one of Poe's misdeeds was
Mm.
very early in the novel, page 29, with the death of a
Okay.
character who shall not be named, di ko sasabihin, kasi para sa mga
Yeah.
hindi pa nakakapagbasa. But you know what? The writing there was so visual,
Mm.
and you see it in your mind when you read it. I mean, for me, that's what I saw when I was reading it.
Mm.
And how important is it for you in setting up a scene like that? I mean, yes, it's gory, it's in
Mm.
a it's in a public space. So it's like the two levels of horror happening at the same time. The killing as well as the place where it happened. Like how can you
Yes.
get away with something like this in real life? So I was wondering, do you have to see it in your mind first as a movie before you write it?
Yes. If you're going to look at it, especially sa mga hindi pa nagbabasa, maninibago sila the kind of writing that I have because I've written it like a movie script. Yun na
Mhm.
nasa mind ko. And I really want to
Okay.
infuse my writing differently sa mga nababasa din when it comes to horror. I myself, I'm inspired by a lot of horror films. This book, Head by the Ceiling, heavily inspired siya ng, yun nga, what mentioned, Final Destination, Evil Dead, Ringu, The Grudge, or Ju-on. What else? One Missed Call. Yeah, there's a specific scene in One Missed Call which is very inspired by yung isang scene din dito sa book. And at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I really want to handheld yung mga audiences when it comes to going to the scene. I really want yung visceral kind of experience, like they're going to smell it, they're going to hear it, they're going to see it and feel yung goosebumps and everything. And what then yung napagdadaanan when it comes to the character. And yung tinignan ko sa page 29, sabi ko, okay, kilala ko to. And there's a lot of wild reactions dun sa nangyari dito sa first na to. And a trivia, it's the first scene na to, trivia then, originally, you know Cecil. Cecil should have been the first, but
Mm.
sinabi ko, ay hindi, mas matindi yung impact nito kapag
Si
si
ganyan,
si
si ganyan.
si
Yeah,
ganyan
yeah.
muna.
We're not
Which
saying any
is
names.
kasi 'di ba every time din na nanonood tayo ng movie, there is yung pinaka first 8 minutes na napakaganda. Like for example, Dawn of the Dead, yung kay Zack Snyder, yung first 8 minutes na yung napaka-wild. And I really want the readers to have that kind of experience as well. Like I'm gifting them kung ano yung naramdaman ko years ago and then I infuse it sa Head by the Ceiling. There you go.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Another thing that I liked about the book is the
Thank you.
non-linear storytelling.
Yes.
I've talked about it with our previous
Mhm.
guest, Arnold,
Mhm.
and syempre na shout out ka sa previous episode. So panoorin mo
Wow.
na lang para malaman mo.
Sige,
Uh,
sige.
um, and I've noticed that this writing or storyline trend seems to be picking up,
Yeah.
mostly in the genre. Like there's
Mhm.
weapons,
I
so
love that.
on film. I love that movie,
Mm.
and then of course in Arnold's own release, which is called Among Five Sinners, and now in yours. So I was wondering, I'd like to get your take on the usage of
Yeah.
nonlinear storytelling
Mhm.
and why it was that form of storytelling structure that you decided when you were writing Head by the Ceiling. Plus, was there ever? I just thought about it now. Was there ever a? Did you ever think of telling the story in a non-linear form? Yeah.
That's a very good question, actually. Um, I think, or I believe, I was gifted with the kind of writing which is non-linear all the time. Like, I think that's how I work and that's how I write. To start
Mm-hmm.
with, even if you're going to read my past book, actually, past book, which is White Mocha Americano, it's non-linear as well.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, like, I'm scared about it, like I'm writing a nonlinear, so aakma ba to sa ibang writers? And then I realized that if this is one of your skill and this is how you want to tell a story, then go on with it. And
Mm.
at the same time, when I was writing nonlinear, of course, part of me, meron pa din ako second guessing, baka ay hindi tama na yung timeline. Nasa ibang
Yeah,
timeline na
right,
ako.
right.
Kasi
That's the challenge. That's the challenge.
yes. Saka I don't know if readers meron kayong this kind of what do you call this, if you have this kind of experience before with an author na na-meet nyo somewhere na at times syempre hindi din sila confident sa sinusulat nila, and they tend to jot it down and at the
Mhm,
same time ask for point of view as well. I have those feeling as well na dapat pulido yung timeline ko. So not
mhm.
only that I have a skill for nonlinear, but at the same time meron akong Excel file. So so
Oh.
every chapter dun ko talaga nilalagay, ginajot down ko lahat dun yung mga scenes, characters, or for example, when it comes to Head by the Ceiling, ginawa ko din yung treatment na yon, and then make sure na, ito, namatay na siya dito sa chapter na to, spoiler alert. So yung mga ganun na, and then at the same time, give the audience a kind of background experience as well. Like, oh, this character in the few chapters, lumisa na siya, or unalive nga daw yung word. Pero, i-gift ko kayo kung ano siya as a person. Hindi lang yung pang iiwanan ko lang na, okay, wala na siya.
Mm.
And at the same time, with non-linear, 'di ba, syempre, medyo we're going back and forth to story with the same treatment like The Grudge and Butterfly Effect, if you've seen that film
Mhm,
as well.
mhm, mhm.
Of course, sa editing, madami din natanggal.
Right.
Yeah, so sa editing phase na yon, I tend to make sure na even if it's non-linear, meron pa din siya natitira for the readers to dive into. And I know sa editing, madaming natanggal, madaming na-remove due to cultural appropriation, beta reading, line editing as well. Pero madaming elements pa din yun na natitira for the people to enjoy a non-linear storytelling. Yan. Okay.
Okay. And
Yeah.
and and
Mm.
it's
Mm.
effective, and
Thank you.
it keeps you on your toes as a reader,
Mm.
because
Thank you.
you know that it's not linear. There's that element of surprise na hindi mo alam what's gonna come up next. You,
Yes.
'di ba?
Mm.
So hindi ka kampante as a reader, parang mahulaan ko lang kung ano susunod. But because it's not
Mm-mm.
non-linear, you don't know, emotionally you don't know what you're gonna get next. So
Yes.
it's
True.
like opening a box of chocolates, 'di ba? Hindi mo alam kung ano makukuha mo.
Oo, 'di ba? Tsaka nga minsan ano nga natatawa na lang ako na madami ako na stress na reader. Pero I apologize for that, pero I kind of enjoy it in some ways.
I enjoy reading those. I enjoy reading those sentiments na nasa stress sila, parang
Nasa-stress, yes.
alam ko
Yes.
na yan. You keep mentioning that that monsters are not born but created.
Mm,
And this has been evident when you start reading the book, and
yeah.
even now as we speak. And because they are created and they're not born, this would imply that they had no say in the manner of their creation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because they had no say, that means a monster is not inherently evil, but was
Mm-hmm.
somewhere at that point in their existence was turned. So
Mm-hmm.
can we assume that you feel every monster can be redeemed, that redemption is possible, or because of that little factor of redemption, it takes away the horror from it all? I mean, if it's possible, that is.
Actually, this is a good conversation. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
For
told you may mga surprise.
yes,
No.
thank you. Yeah. Oo nga. Kasi ano, for every monster, I believe for every monster, there's always a backstory. I remember
Mhm.
when I was writing Head by the Ceiling in Matsumoto years ago, I thought na, I need a morally gray anti-hero that siya ang isang, other will say na villain, pero basahin nyo na lang. Then I came across a yokai, a folkloric ghost that started gaining attention online around 2009 in Japan.
Mhm.
And there wasn't so much like knowledge or like background or real backstory about her, just fragments of huntings here and there. So I decided
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
give Hasha Kusama one. a reason for her rage, her haunting, her existence. Going back lang dun sa story, so in my version, she had been imprisoned in Nakaka or hell for half millennium. So giving that kind of suffering, isolation, and fury, it's not surprising that she would seek vengeance or unleash destruction. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
her monstrosity then becomes like understandable and even tragic. And sabi ko na nga to earlier, na what's the most surprising thing that many of my readers, yung favorite character nila is Hasha Kusama. And I really felt
Mm.
that because I titled the book Head by the Ceiling as an ode to her. It's not about the victims with their heads nailed to the ceiling. It's about actually the 8 foot monster whose head touches the ceiling.
Yeah.
And it's all about perspective. Now, you asked me about redemption. Yes, I believe it's possible that every monster, even every human, carries the
Mm-hmm.
potential for change. So, but redemption doesn't take away the horror. If
Mm-hmm.
anything, it actually deepens it because horror at its core, it's honesty, it's uncomfortable, it's painful, and sometimes it's hopeful truths about what it
Mm-hmm.
means to be human and also what it means to be post-human, meaning like ghost, yung unrest ghosts,
Mm-hmm.
yung folklore natin, bakit sila existing pa din. It's those grief na unprocessed, yun nga, is the painful life that they had as a human, and then after being unalive or being dead, naging ano siya, into a grudge, into a rage, into a fury na still nagbubrew pa din. So,
Mm-hmm.
there you go.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Nasagot ang
Mm.
tanong. But just when
Yes,
you
thank you.
but just when you thought a monster is all that you'll be getting, you also throw in some words that we should be learning, like in page 87.
Okay,
Uh
pumunta ako 87. Pumunta sa
you
just
wrote
making
about
sure.
trees, and the word that you
Yeah,
use to call trees is deciduous. I love that word.
thank you.
And I will definitely be using that moving forward.
Mm. Mm.
Nanakawin ko yan from you. But I was wondering
Yes,
when I was wondering when
go.
you write, do you have a thesaurus with you when you write or when you edit?
Of course,
Meron, di
definitely.
ba?
Kasi siguro sasabihin nila, ay, ang flowery naman word nito, yung ganon. When we're writing, we really want to help you grow as a reader and like teach you some new terms. Sometimes nga when it comes to White Mocha, I created a few words as well. Like, di ba mayroong tayong gay lingo, things like that. And I created my own as a writer as
Mm-hmm.
well. And even CJ, nag-ano din siya, nag-infuse siya many, I should say, words that could help you gain more and appreciate the experience as a reader. So, I do have thesaurus with me. Sometimes nga, gumagamit pa ako ng urban dictionary, slang
Oh,
dictionary.
nice. That's
Kasi
nice, nice.
maganda siyang tulong sa atin, and at the same time, yung pag-phrase ng sentence, it will be much more like a live experience for the author, and then gifting the reader with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mhm.
We're slowly sort of like transitioning into process,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
some people would go like, okay, I write for today,
Yeah. Mhm.
and then I meet my word count, and then I write again the next day.
Yes.
Do you go back and read what you wrote before, and tweak it before moving forward, or you just move forward, and then when everything is done, that's the time you do the tweaking?
Yes. Yes, sinabi ko.
Yes, lahat.
Depends.
Ano yan?
'Di ba sinabi nga ni Sir Ricky Lee na writing is rewriting and rewriting is writing, 'di ba? Yun nga. Ganun talaga
Mm.
yung process natin all the time. But there are specific novels na nasulat ko, all mostly finish ko muna lahat, and then I go back chapter by chapter. There are books then, I should say a couple na I need
Mhm.
to furnish the chapter and then move on to the next chapter and then furnish it again. It depends
Mm.
talaga when it comes to the work. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mm-mm, mm.
and syempre, we are not also discounting the emotion, or the emotional state that you are when you write, or when
Yeah,
you know, for that day, diba? I mean, there will be
true,
days where I don't feel like anything. I don't feel like
true.
writing. I just feel like, eating and watching Netflix and binge watch and whatever.
Yeah,
And it is a form of conditioning, diba?
mm,
And
true.
if you I feel that if you want to do this for the long haul,
Excuse me. Hmm.
you would want to get yung basics mo, your foundations right, para
Yeah,
at
true.
least pag medyo you fall off the wagon ng konti in your
Mm-mm.
process,
Yeah,
madaling makabalik because
totoo.
maganda yung foundation mo, 'di ba?
I agree.
I was speaking to someone earlier in the week, and they were surprised that, oh, you write every day. I try. Sabi ko, I try to write every day,
Mm-mm.
because if I will just base my writing on, I feel like writing today. Okay, next day I don't feel like it. Next day, what if I still don't feel like it? And
True,
you will be a slave to your emotions, and
true.
you will be surprised that by the time that you want to get back into it, maybe 1 month has passed by at wala kang ginawa. Diba?
Yeah.
And let's
Mm-mm.
say, what if wala ka pang deadline? So, ang daming sayang, ang daming oras na nasayang,
Yeah.
with regards to you being a slave to that. So if you can, someone I also heard from a podcast say that if you, let's say, you have a minor cold, a minor cough, or you scratch yourself, or you wounded yourself at the
Mm-mm.
house, and you have to go to work during that day, do you stay home because you stubbed your toe on the bed, or you have a slight cold? No, you take medicine, or you put band-aid to the wound, and pasok ka sa trabaho, 'di ba?
True.
You're
Mm-mm.
not excused. So if you want to think of it, if you want to think of your writing as a job, and it's not something na parang the slightest thing that will inconvenience you, you will use that as a major excuse not to write.
Yeah,
Then you run counter to the goal of setting up a good foundation
I
for
agree.
your process. No,
I
so
agree every way.
final question.
Yeah.
Final down. I heard from an actor who says that their job is to amplify people's stories.
Mhm.
So how about a writer? What do you think is our job?
For me, being a writer, it's taking the reader on a journey to places that they've never been to, and at the same time, the place they've never been to, it's inside the writer's mind. You know, for Head by the Ceiling, sinasabi ko nga, I always share a little darkness. A dark side ko. Hindi naman dark side, but the darkness that I experience as a human. Not only about yung being horrified, terrified, or petrified, but more on the grief of losing a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
The stress of sa work, like going to deal with a toxic boss, or even those little things they experience nothing every day. And I really want to impart that to people and make it something that they would appreciate and not pass by.
Mm-hmm.
And yun yung palagi naniniwala ko when it comes to writer. They want to impart you a world that you weren't able to experience, and at the same time a glimpse of what goes on inside a writer's head.
Mm-hmm.
And sinasabi nga nila when it comes to your book, ay baka minish yan. Oh, totoo, minish nga tayo. And there are books that are written specifically for this for example, yung Head by the Ceiling, I written that for horror fans, which is yun din yung inaano ko sa mga people na every time that they're going to read this, if you love horror, you're going to love it. If not, it's a trap. So yun nga, kaya it's an experience that we always want to share to our readers. There you
Mm-hmm.
go. Oh,
All
by the
right.
way,
Mm.
going back lang dun sa sinabi mo, 'di ba, we experience yung mga at times na we're not able to write, and we need to rest for a while.
Mm-mm.
And
Mm-mm.
sinasabi nga nila, writer's block to, 'di ba? Writer's block. Naniniwala ako sa sinabi ni Ocean Vong na even when you're thinking, hindi ka nagsusulat, you're already writing. So
Oh, I love
don't
that. I love that.
yes. Yes. So sa mga writers dyan, I know na meron tayong magiging audience na writer as well. Don't super punish yourself na hindi ka nakapagsulat. Ay, nako, yung
Yes.
skill mo. No. Even when you're thinking about it, you're already writing. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay. Daydreaming is also writing. So
Yes.
I agree.
Yes. I
I agree.
agree.
So before we wrap up, I'd like to play a game, if that's
Oh my God.
okay.
Yes.
I call it three cards, three questions. It's normally done as an icebreaker, but I just felt it would be fun to, cap our talk with it.
Kinakabahan ako. Oh my God. Yeah.
So, ako hindi ko alam kung anong card I'm gonna be pulling out.
Okay.
So, we'll see what kind of card it is. But I hope it's not
Okay.
math or chemistry because I myself I don't like those questions.
Me too. Sabi nila pan Chinese daw maging samat. No.
Hindi lahat.
Hindi lahat.
May exception. So, the categories here are life, deep questions, if you could, random experiences, and would you rather.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
let me babalik ta rin ko to. They're color coded. So it's
Mm.
gray, yellow, blue, red, green, and oh, sorry, it's black, and then finally gray. So I don't know if
Oh,
you can,
wow.
you can see it there.
Ay, wow. That's nice cards.
So I will not tell you what category it is, but mamili ka na lang
Mm.
kung anong color speaks to you at the moment.
Kulay ng dugo ko. Black.
Oh, kala ko red. Sige, black.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, black. Sige, kuha tayo from the, let's get from
Okay.
the black card is would you rather cards. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So, would you rather be the star player on a losing football team or ride the bench on a winning one?
Wow.
Yeah. So, would you rather be the
Mm.
star or okay ka lang kasama ka sa team pero panalo pa rin kayo? Yeah,
I'd
parang
rather be a
ganyan.
yeah, thank you. I'd rather be a star of a losing team because
Okay.
I at least I know I did my best for us to
Okay.
win and nag-effort pa din ako for this team. And
Mm.
although hindi siya nanalo, pero there, sabi nga ng quote before, try until you succeed. So, alam mo yun, hindi man panahon ngayon na mananalo, but for sure in the near future, if a little bit, do sa learning na yun, panatutunan mo na, and then exert it again till ma-achieve mo yun dapat mo i-achieve.
Okay,
There
next
you go.
question or the next color.
Red.
Red, kasi because your book is
Red.
prominently features red. Okay, mamili tayo ng red. What red is according dito sa category deep questions. What are some of your personal rules that you refuse to break?
Oh, personal rules.
So it's either we can confine it to writing or
Yeah.
maybe we can confine it to book selection. Parang gano, I don't
Mhm.
know.
Okay. One of the rules, actually always ko siya pinapractice, uh, if it's difficult to write, then meaning you're on a right path.
Oh,
Yan,
I
yan pala.
like. I
Yan
like.
pala.
I like. I
Yes.
like. May resistance. That's true. Mamaya
Yeah.
kwento ko sa'yo kung bakit.
So, yun. Yun ang palaging ina-advise ko sa sarili ko. Kapag easy ang sulatin, ay, ano yan, hindi ako na-challenge dyan. And
Mm.
then, I tend to always look for that kind of experience na magsusulat ako ng bago, tapos na-challenge ako, nasa-stress ako, which is I'm doing something tama. Alam mo yan?
Okay, kasi pag walang stress, walang reward, walang fruitful reward. You know,
Wala.
with stress within the creative process. Okay, not stress in
Mm-mm.
not stress in
Yes.
general. That's a different topic if you want to handle stress that way. Okay,
Tama.
final color,
Yellow one.
yellow. Okay, pinili lang ako. Hindi ko siya pinagbuhol-buhol. And you are the
Yes.
first person that I use these cards
Ay,
on. So,
thank you.
nabinyagan ng tama.
The blessing yan. Dapat palo mo din.
Oo, di ba? Sige.
Yeah.
Uh, this is random. What
Yeah.
would your rap name be? Kung rapper ka daw.
Oh my God. Ano kay rap ni oh my God.
Ah,
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 ano ba? Ah, Chinky Dough. Chinky Dough.
Chinky daw. Actually, naisip ko nail man eh.
Nail. Oh, gusto
The
ko
nail.
yun.
Oh, here comes the nail man.
Kaya lang parang iba yun.
Madugo at ano.
Madugo. Yes. Pwede
or
din.
or
Gusto ko.
yeah, pwede. All
The
right.
nailer.
The nail man. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Ayan, sige.
thank you.
We got that. We got that. So, what is next on the horizon for you? What can we expect from Anthony?
From Anthony. Stay tuned. Yan yung parang sinasabi. Ano, naka-contract din yung mga ganun. Pero ano, the one thing that I always advise, it's there's pretty good colors sa horizon right now, and please stay tuned sa future ng writings ko. 2026, I'm so thankful that I get to experience this with amazing authors as well. I'll be part of yun nga, the UP Press anthology, which is for crime, mystery, and thriller for FFYA. It last time that I heard, I was able to talk to Q or Kenneth Yu na
Mm,
March daw i-release siya. So stay tuned. Baka sa
okay.
PBF siya.
All
And what
right.
else? Yun, stay tuned na lang.
Shout out to Kenneth.
Shout out! Yes.
All right. For those who would want to get a copy of the book and wala pa kayong kopya, where can they get this?
Yes, you can find it on Shopee, Lazada, some online stores as well, and even National Bookstore and Fully
Mm-hmm.
Book. And
Yeah.
please tag me or share your thoughts. Happy
Yeah.
ako to receive it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they want to follow you on social media, where can they best find you?
Anthony Shieh, Shieh. You can go to my website, anthonysheh.com as well. And easy to find. Walang
Okay.
kapangalan. Yes.
All right. And
Yeah.
on Twitter, on Instagram, same name, of course.
Twitter,
Galing.
don't have Twitter. Na-delete ko na siya.
Wala na. Yes.
But
Okay.
the
Sorry.
rest, same name. Yeah.
All right. Okay. That is it. That is a wrap for today. Thank you so much,
Thank
Anthony,
you.
for joining us today on this episode. And I wish you all the best in all your
Thank
future
you.
writing
Thank
endeavors.
you.
And since madalas tayo mag-usap, update tayo and
Yes.
share and tag. So
That's
for those listening today, if you are a creative and you would like to be featured on the podcast, very, very easy. Just email us at urbanfantasyph@gmail.com. And if you're interested in getting our books, personally, you can check out my website, that's cjedmunds.com, or the Spine Books page on Shopee. So thank you again, Anthony, and we can't
thank
wait
you.
to see what you have for us next. And for everybody out there, if you are in the middle of your creative work, know that it's okay to take a breather and come back to the work with fresh eyes and renewed energy. And I wish you all the best. Stay on the path and keep writing. You can do it. The world needs your work, and don't
Yes.
let anybody tell you any different. Okay? Namaste, and blessed be, and I'll see you again for another episode. And happy Halloween! That was another episode of Urban Fantasy PH. Join us next time as we feature another creative soul who wants their art to be seen, heard, and shared. If you have your own work to share, just email us at urbanfantasyph@gmail.com. Till the next episode, this is independent author, singer-songwriter, radio personality, voice actor, and fellow creative, CJ Edmunds, reminding you to always listen to your heart, create with your mind, and share your soul. Goodbye, everybody. Namaste. Blessed be.